I wouldn't trade this life for the world. I started out going to college thinking I was supposed to and should as a chemical engineer. Now, I probably could have made a lot more money as a chemical engineer, but I would not be happy. This is the best job in the whole world right here. I'm not rich, but I've had a very happy life. My name is Scott Currier. I am at 88 Hatch Street. I've been in the business about just over 50 years now, making furniture and cabinets. And I live in New Bedford. I love New Bedford. Great town. So I've been in this building now almost 25 years now. So still making cabinets.
How would you describe your style?
You know, it's funny, about 50 years ago, I used to live in Canterbury, New Hampshire, right next to Shaker Village. So I used to make Shaker furniture. That's how I started out, making Shaker furniture. Then it sort of evolved, and I just started making contemporary furniture. And so I really just make contemporary furniture now, whatever I feel like making. But my main business is making kitchens, actually custom kitchens for clients in Boston. That's my main business.
What would you say is the difference between like a piece of commercial furniture and a piece of artwork furniture that is displayed in the gallery?
Well, for one thing, it's a lot easier to sell commercial than it is to sell artwork furniture. There aren't a lot of galleries that want to sell furniture. And the reason is, furniture does not sell. You can sell pottery and jewelry and a lot of other things, but furniture is not a good seller. You know, there are places in Boston that do have furniture galleries, but they only sell maybe 3 different types of people, and even they have trouble selling that work, and they're famous. So if you're not famous in the furniture business, you're really not going to sell a lot of furniture. Yeah.
Visually, do you think there is a difference?
There is a difference between...
Like in terms of aesthetics, do you think there's a difference between like a furniture art and furniture products?
Yeah, you know, sometimes I just make strange things and paint them strange colors. Whereas if I was making traditional furniture, it's difficult to sell either one. So I'm just at the stage of my life at my age where I can just make anything I want. I don't care. So I can make very colorful, bright red furniture, like the table down there in the corner is bright red. And are you going to sell a bright red table? Probably not, but it's what I wanted to do. So, you know, you're just not going to sell a lot of furniture.
Can you talk about some of the things or people that has influenced you?
You know, it's interesting. Just lately, I've gotten on Instagram to look at other people's work. And there is some amazing work out there. And I wonder if they sell it, actually. But it is amazing, and they put tremendous amounts of talent and work and hours into making that furniture. And I don't know if they're selling it, but it is beautiful work. And so I really lately get influenced by Instagram. There was just some amazing people out there doing work. It's incredible. You know, all over this country they're making work. My thing is, my work is not basically New England style. I can't sell my bright red tables in New England because everybody has an older home. You know, you're not going to find a person with an 1872 house buying a bright red table to put in their house. It doesn't quite go. But it's still fun to make, and that's okay, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of great workers out there. There's a lot of great work being done. And the famous people are selling it, and the rest of the people are sort of getting by.
What do you think it takes in the furniture world for a person to become famous?
Persistence. You have to be a woodworker for years and years. And I've talked about this with other furniture makers. We tend to make furniture, sell it inexpensively. The next time you make some furniture, you get a little bit more money for it, and you work your way up. But you've got to have an outlet for it. New England is not an outlet for my furniture. I'm not making any more that type of furniture. In fact, when I used to make shaker furniture, yes, I could sell it. It was 50 years ago. But even now, you really can't sell shaker furniture. It's not in. It's not what people want anymore. So I don't want to make it anyways, but I don't think anybody's making it really and selling it. We all move on and do something else.
Having lived on this planet for so many years, what are some of the changes you've seen in the art world?
You know, so I'm 78 years old. I was woodworking when I was probably 10. My father had a little woodworking shop in his basement, and I would go down there and work with him and play with it. He would do it just to relax. He was an engineer. And so I would just go down and play with him and make some wooden stuff. And so many things have changed. Of course, back then the price of lumber was so inexpensive. Well, of course, you didn't make much money back then. But what amazes me is the technology of the equipment nowadays. The big CNC machines that can just do anything. It is amazing. By drawing it on the computer and then sending it over to the CNC machine, that machine will just turn it out to perfection, perfectly. And it'll do something in a day that it would take you a month to do. You know, the equipment has just become unbelievably and computerized. You know, we never had computer equipment back then. It just does so much more. It opens up a whole world of design that you could never do by hand. It would take you forever. So the machinery alone, of course it's very expensive, but it turns out a very consistent, perfect product.
Do you think that it will replace humans one day?
You know, it already has, I guess, because it turns out a product perfectly and very quickly. So with a CNC machine, you can make 20 pieces of furniture perfectly, all the same, very quickly. And by hand, it would take you months. I had a friend that had to make 3 big, huge tables for a customer, poured with epoxy and black walnut. 3 massive tables. It took him a year to make 3 tables. I mean, that's very difficult. Making a living, trying to make 3 tables and taking a year. You know, when a CNC machine can turn out, and the machines do it in pottery. They do it in, you know, they make clay models, they make metal, they make it out of wood. You know, it take a pretty good shop to make all that stuff. Take a good crew of men, but a good CNC machine can do it all. Things really have changed.
How do you think your work has changed over the years?
Gee, I don't know. I used to make a lot of traditional things, and shaker furniture, things that people, very simple furniture. And I think now it gets a little more complicated, the furniture. Because you get tired of making very simple things. Shaker furniture being an example is very simple, very easy to make. There's no curves to it. There's no incredible joint that goes together. And now it's a lot more fun to make furniture that's difficult to make. And unfortunately, very time consuming.
Have you ever faced the pressures of being a stereotypical poor artist?
No, actually, I've never been a poor artist, only because I make cabinet work. I make custom cabinets, and I guess in life my specialty might be custom kitchens. And that's really where the money is. If you want to be a woodworker, you've got to do cabinet work, because that's where the money really is. And then it frees you up to do your furniture on the side. So you really need to do cabinet work if you want to stay in the business. I don't want to drive a taxi all day and come here at night and make a piece of furniture. I'd rather make a cabinet, which is very easy to do, I understand, but that's where you make your money. You know, that's just what you have to do.
When it comes to choosing a path for the future for a young person, do you think he should pursue like what he passions in, or like what makes more money?
I realize everybody is different, but I got to tell you, I wouldn't trade this life for the world. I started out going to college thinking I was supposed to and should as a chemical engineer. Now, I probably could have made a lot more money as a chemical engineer, but I would not be happy. This is the best job in the whole world right here. There is no better job. I pick the perfect job, and I just wouldn't change it for the world. I'm not rich, but I've had a very happy life. And if you want to have a sad life and do something you don't want to do just to make money, that's not good. That's not good. I wouldn't change this for the world. Perfect job.
How do you think you have used art to like pass over this gluttonous stage for money?
This work is just so fulfilling. This work is exciting. Maybe not doing the kitchens and the cabinets. That may not be exciting. But it frees up for me to do work that is different and fun and exciting. And then I build a piece and I go back to making my cabinets. But the art part of it, the thinking about it, the drawing out your artwork, drawing out the pieces, making the things, changing it again and again and again until you get it right. That is the fun part of making furniture. All the changes are just fun.
Do you try to express anything when doing furniture?
You know, I read a lot of books about furniture and artwork, and I read all those fancy things. But I really just like to make things that I like to make. I'm not sure. I don't name anything. I don't have a theme. I don't make a piece of furniture and say, oh, this represents the destruction of the world. No, I really don't. I just make a piece of furniture and go, gee, I like that. I really just keep it simple and make what I feel like making. There's nothing hidden in it, I don't believe at all. I'm not like that. No.
Being at the age of 78, what would be one decision that you would choose to do otherwise if you were younger?
I don't know. I don't think anything. You know, we've talked about this with friends of mine who make furniture. And the people that make it in the furniture world have always made furniture. So 50 years ago, if I had just made furniture, as the years go on and did nothing else, I may have become a famous furniture maker, maybe. But I had to make money as I went along. And so I went off into the cabinet business. And if you look at all the famous furniture makers, they never went off into the cabinet business. They just made furniture year after year, and they never stopped. And I think that's why they have become famous. But they must have had some pretty tough years at first, really tough, and I give them credit for sticking with it. Yeah, they did well, but that just wasn't for me. I like to eat every day, and I like to have my shop and pay my rent and buy a house. So it's okay. I don't think I would have changed anything. I never minded doing cabinet work. I never minded doing that.